Hey guys, this is MusicTechHelpGuy, and welcome to this video tutorial on using Melodyne 4 to tune up and clean up a guitar solo. This is actually sort of a requested video. A couple weeks ago I put a video up on my channel of me in the studio playing a guitar solo of this song. The name of the song is called Magic by my band Mayday Children. And a couple people commented and said, hey, your solo is nice, but a couple of your strings on your guitar are a little out of tune. And I went back and listened to it. Sure enough, yeah, it's not bad, but it's noticeable enough for me to warrant going back in and maybe cleaning up those notes a little bit. So we're gonna take our guitar solo here and take those out of tune strings and put them back in tune. With Melodyne. So let me play the original solo without Melodyne on it. I'm working in Pro Tools today. There's a little bit of automation on it as well, just volume. I've got a few plugins on this as well. It's HEQ, API 2500 from Waves, H-Delay, and Valhalla Shimmer, just for a little bit of ambience. But the main thing about this is not a DI guitar solo. I'm not using an amp plugin or a modeler. This is actually a real amp that was mic'd up with two microphones. So let's see how well Melodyne can handle this. So let me go ahead and add Melodyne on my first insert here. It's under Ceremony Melodyne, and we can load it in stereo. And as we transfer this in, you will hear the original version of the solo, and then we will go back and clean up the tuning on that solo. We're going to go up to algorithm first here. We're going to make sure this is in melodic mode, because I'm kind of playing a couple notes at the same time in a couple spots, but for the most part it's one note at a time. So I'm going to keep it on melodic, and then we're going to hit transfer. Make sure that the playhead is somewhere before the solo, and then just hit play. All right, so now that we've got our guitar solo transferred over into Melodyne, let's give this a listen. Now, remember in Melodyne, or if you haven't used Melodyne before, you can't just press the spacebar to play what's in Melodyne. You actually have to double-click on the ruler up here to solo just what's in Melodyne. Now, unlike tuning vocals, I'm not going to go through this, and I'm not going to mess with every single note, because some of the notes I just want to leave them where they are, leave them be, because if I try moving them or correcting them, it may actually affect the quality of the note. But let's listen to just this very first phrase here. There's kind of an issue here, but we're just going to leave that alone. It's sort of like a bendy little note. It's actually a polyphonic part where I'm playing two notes, so I'm just going to leave that alone. If I mess with it at all, it's just going to make it sound worse. Not that it sounds bad, but it's going to make it sound bad. There's this do-do-do-do-do-do, and you can see the note clearly scoops up here. So if you use your main tool and you just hover over the top of the note like this, you'll get this extra tool. It's called the note separation tool, and you double click, it actually separates that note. So now we have, it just Melodyne incorrectly analyzed the note and didn't separate it. One other thing I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to get rid of the delay and the shimmer plugin out here, just so we don't have to hear all that reverb tail on there. All right, another thing I'm going to do over here in this note, it's obviously one note, but it's actually separated into two different octaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my note assignment mode up here. I'm going to grab this note and move it up there. So it just corrects the analysis on the note. And let's listen to that. There we go. Let's look over here. So this is three notes. Da 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 da. So there's one here. We're going to separate it. Let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see it a little better. And you can see it. There's a note up top, a note in the middle, a note at the bottom. So we just hover over the top part of the note, double click, hover over this, double click. Here's another one right here. Again, the little bluesy parts I'm going to leave alone because they're actually polyphonic. I'm playing two notes at the same time. All right, so you can see this note's a little sharp. So let's go through and let's tune the notes that we actually can and leave the ones that we can't alone. So we've got this little area over here again that we played with. I'm going to leave this alone because there's a little squeal in there, but this part, we can totally tune that up. So I'm going to drag over those notes. You can see they're a little flat. Go up to my pitch macro up here, and we're going to adjust the pitch drift. Now, it's analyzed this in C minor. The song's actually in G minor, which is a closely related key. I'm not going to snap to any key right now because there are notes in the guitar solo that are outside of the key of the song, so we don't want to mess up the notes. Maybe these bottom two notes too. We can pull those more toward the grid. I'm going to leave this one alone. I can hear a little bit of artifacting in there, but that bottom note I definitely want. And we got our top little squeal up here. We're going to take that and center it on the grid. All this, we're going to drag over that, center that. So this is kind of weird. I go F, G, F, G. Here the G is flat. Here the G is sharp because of the vibrato. I'm bending the string too much. So let's drag over those and pull those center. There's a little scoop up here. I'm going to double click to separate that. There's one note right here that didn't get analyzed correctly. It's one note. So let's go into our note assignment mode and pull that up. There we go. It really should just be there, actually. Actually, no, there is a bend on it, so I'm going to leave it alone. Let's try quantizing all this to pitch, and let's see what that sounds like. It might be too much. Yeah, it just sounds a little robotic to me. I'm going to do this note, this note, this note. All the ones with these little bends in them, I'm going to leave alone. But the ones that are just sort of straight notes, I'm going to leave those. I am going to pitch correct those. But the ones, yeah, the ones that are just straight notes, I'm going to go ahead and pitch correct. By the way, I'm just holding the command button to individually select individual notes as opposed to selecting a range. So let's try those. Let's hear that. There we go. We got this little run up here. I feel like there needs to be another note right here. Yeah, so I'm gonna do all these. You can see some of the notes on the bottom end are flat. And actually right here, there's a note that's quite a bit flat as well. There we go. I don't know if these up here I want to toy with yet, but let's look at this note. Now, this one, I'm going to center it, but notice the vibrato goes up too far. It doesn't center on the note properly. I'm going to play with the pitch drift tool a bit. You know what? Let's use the actual pitch drift tool. Let's go click and hold on this second tool here, and then go down to the second tool in the list, the pitch drift tool, and let's play with this. I'm gonna pull it down to center that vibrato on the note. Maybe a little bit less. By the way, you can double click to set it back to default. Yeah, it doesn't sound right up there. And also this note right here needs to be separated, I think. Let's see. You know what, I tell you what, let's move. That's obviously in the wrong octave, but let's move that up first. Let's see how that fares. Yeah, I mean, obviously here you can separate this one. This one's just not, there's no line in it, so it's not really sure what to do with it. So I'm going to leave that note alone, but these two and all of these, I am going to pitch correct. Let's see. Yeah, that looks about right. And really it's because there's a little extra noise in there. Cool. Let's listen to the whole solo just by itself, and then we'll listen to it with the track. One thing I would like to do is in this middle section here, there's these little bends on this note and this note. One thing I'm going to try to do is use the pitch modulation tool, which is the first tool down under the second tool, under the pitch tool. What this does is, I described it earlier, as sort of like the T-Pain effect. When you double click on a note, it completely takes the vibrato out of the note, as opposed to keeping the vibrato in. But you can also click on a note and pull down the amount of vibrato or pull it up. And the amount that you pull it up or down will actually show up right up here. So if I double click, it'll set it back to default 100%. And if I pull this down, if I pull it down, you can see now we're 48%. I just feel like these two notes have a little bit too much wiggle in them. So I'm going to pull them down to about 60 or 70%. Let's listen to that. Let's hear this one without it. I think I like this one with maybe just a touch. Pull down just a touch. And there's actually one here that blah-da-da. This note, I actually want to pull out the bend a little bit. You can see that little bend at the end there. So instead of pulling down, I'm going to pull up. I'm going to take this above 100%, just to make that bend a little bit more. Cool, let's listen to the whole thing with the delay and the shimmer plugin back on there. All right, that sounds great. The thing about this is that part of using Melodyne to enhance your recordings depends on how OCD you are. If you're very OCD about your editing and your tuning like I am, well, you'll appreciate this. Here, the guitar solo sounded, in my opinion, fine without Melodyne, but it's even more tuned and tweaked with Melodyne. So it's definitely an improvement, even if it's a small one. So I think what I'm going to do with Melodyne is just keep throwing vocal and instrumental and even percussive material at it, getting that on video and seeing what we can really do with this plugin and go from there. So this will be a Melodyne tutorial series per se, but I'm not going to put them in any particular order. I'll just keep doing Melodyne videos as I find material to work with. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, if you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel to see multiple new videos added every week. Also, you can check out carneymediagroup.com, where you can view all of my video tutorials, search for specific topics, download the videos ad-free, and in some cases you can purchase session content so you can work along with me in the video. Also, please consider giving a monthly contribution at patreon.com/MusicTechHelpGuy. As always, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.